What's going on, guys? Jonah here. Third time is a charm for recording this video. We are going to talk about buying a Honda Goldwing, specifically a Classic Goldwing under the year 2000. I want to talk about some tips, what kinds of prices you should be looking for reasonably, things to look out for, and a little bit about, why is the Goldwing itself so cheap anyways. So what is a Goldwing? So this is a Goldwing, right? It's a full dresser tourer. It has all the bells and whistles. It's for touring, it's for long commutes, and a lot of people consider it an old man bike. What do old guys have that young guys usually don't? That's usually money. So a big audience of the Goldwing, a large part of their audience, they already have newer, better machines. I'm not necessarily saying better, because I think the 1500 holds its own in many rights still, but if you are somebody with the time and the money to want something like a Goldwing, usually you have a newer one. And of course, as the years continue, there are older and older bikes. More and more people replace their old Goldwings. More and more are for sale, especially like the GL 1800s right now. You can really find some for some pretty reasonable prices right now. And of course, since the Goldwing, it is built like an absolute bullet, it will run for absolute ever. The Goldwing has been around for 50 years now, and tons of them are still running. So of course, every single year that passes, there's more and more Goldwings that are still on the market, still on the road, being sold. Typically, for a Classic Goldwing, you should be able to get one anywhere from like $1,000 to $4,000, and I'm talking $1,500, $1,200, $1,100, or GL 1000, and that's a pretty awesome deal, especially for a bike that you're getting everything you could ever want. Typically on a motorcycle, of course, there's no ABS, it's not fuel injected, but you know what I mean. Like, you got your saddlebags, you got your windshield, you have everything you need for an actual trip on this bike. Okay, my tip number one, if you are not mechanically inclined, just absolutely, completely don't go for anything that even mentions repairs, needs carbs cleaned, anything like that at all whatsoever. Most dealerships will not work on a motorcycle this old. And if you do find one that does, it's usually fairly expensive. If you are if you've worked on bikes before and that's something you want to look for specifically, if you want a fixture-upper Goldwing that's not a ton of work, you can get a 1500 for $1,000. You could even find one for $500 that's not running, and I think, more power to you. But if you're one of those people that you are not mechanically inclined, absolutely, like, pass on the $1,000 Goldwing, get the $2,000 Goldwing that actually runs really well. I'm going to go over some pricing real quick. This is kind of near my local area. I live in Tennessee. I set my Facebook marketplace distance for like 1,000 miles away. I'm in the market for a GL 1000 or 1100. That's going to be my next purchase. So I'm on the market all the time looking at bikes. I see prices quite frequently, and these are some things that I see, right? I think if you want I'm only going to talk about quality, okay? If you want a quality, nice running 1500, you're going to be looking at anything from $2,000 to, at the very highest end, probably like $4,500. I got this for $3,500. It was garage kept its whole life, less than 100,000 miles. Paint is in perfect condition. You can buy a really nice condition 1500 for less than $5,000 easily. If we're talking about GL 1200s, that was my second bike that I ever had, was a 1200. I think I got mine for $1,200 actually. It was either $1,200 or $1,000, and it definitely had a lot of cosmetic problems. It had an oil leak. And you got to remember, you're going further and further back in time. The GL 1200 was only made between 84 and 87, so that's not a ton of years. Keep on the lookout, though. 1200 did have a naked model, which was really cool. But for a good GL 1200, you're probably looking at anywhere from, I would say, $1,100, $1,200 all the way up to about $3,000. I think the sweet spot for a GL 1200 is going to be the $2,000 mark. So if you're saving up money and you're continuously looking on Marketplace or try to find something that pops up, try to have $2,000 saved for a GL 1200. Okay, I'm kind of going to lump the 1100 and the 1000 in together because they're very similar. My brother, he bought his GL 1100 for $1,200, and it had problems. Like the brakes had to be rebuilt. He unfortunately traded it for his car, but and I was there for that. So I've actually been a part of buying 3 different Goldwings. But for an 1100 or 1000, for like a normal condition, like it's running and it's decent, you're looking at anywhere from $1,000 to $2,500. I say the sweet spot for an 1100 is probably, you could get a good 1100 or 1000 for about $1,750, $1,800. Definitely less than 2000. You can definitely find one for less than 2000. Now, the caveat with those older bikes, of course, is kind of the older you get, if you're wanting one in really good condition, it's going to cost you even more. I did find my absolute dream motorcycle. It was a GL 1000 in the very rare brown and gold color pattern, completely naked. And it was on sale for $7,000. And boy, oh boy, do I wish I had the money for that, because this GL 1000 was like showroom floor levels of perfect. I just like swallowed a bunch of air. It's really windy today and has made recording this video absolute hell. My phone fell down earlier. It actually broke the receiver that my microphone plugs into. And I'm holding the microphone like this to try to block some of the wind so it's not ridiculous. Okay, so let's go ahead. We've talked about the prices. Let's talk about low pricing, right? If it's really, really low for some reason, it's obviously too good to be true. If someone is trying to sell a GL 1500 for $800, it's not going to be running. And I'm just saying, this is a very broad statement, okay, guys? But be very wary of buying a Goldwing for less than $1,000. Even an 1100, even a 1200, it's going to require work if it's less than $1,000. So be prepared for that. The 1000s and the 1100s, they have problems with their brakes a lot. Be prepared to bleed the brakes, maybe even replace the entire brake line. That's something that may happen. Be prepared to replace tires for those really old bikes. And I do recommend, like, if you're going to go meet somebody, of course, be safe, but you're going to go meet somebody, ride it home. You know, it should be good enough for you to ride home if you're going to be spending your hard-earned money on it. And you can pay the guy cash. Make sure there's a title, obviously, before you hand any money over. Make sure you have the title and make sure it's good, right? But you have the title. You can call your insurance company. You can insure it. And then you can ride it home from there. Like I said, I'm in the market for a GL 1000 right now. I may drive as far, I may even fly somewhere to go get it and ride it back. Like, I'm willing to go probably, I'm willing to travel probably about 8 hours to get the bike I really, really want. And of course, on the channel, I'm going to be documenting everything when I get my second bike. It's going to be a ton of fun having 2 Goldwings in my garage, especially a lighter, smaller, naked Goldwing. But of course, if you're going to ride it home, you know, make sure to check the dates on the tires, make sure it has brakes, make sure it has oil. When we went to go pick up my brother's GL 1100, there was actually no oil at all in it. And the rear brake was completely locked up because there was absolutely no brake fluid in the line at all whatsoever. We were able to open that up and put oil in it, and our dad actually rode it all the way back a whole hour, which was probably not safe, but it did work out. So a couple of just random tips, right? GL 1500, you really want to look for something garage kept. You want to look at the plastics. Is it missing plastics? How faded is it? Look at the seats. Like, these things are not really easy to replace. It may be easy to be like, okay, hey, I'll just get it and I'll fix A, B, C, D later on in the future. But just that little panel that I'm missing there, that was actually my fault. It fell off on the interstate. But that panel, that's going to cost me probably $150 to replace. So it's not cheap. These older bikes, yes, you can find things for them. But if you're in the market and if you're buying, I would say be patient and really get what you're actually wanting. I wouldn't settle. If you need to wait a month for more things to pop up, if you need to drive a couple hours further away, I think that's completely worth it. If you're looking for older bikes, especially GL 1200, look for oil leaks. With the 1200 specifically, just make sure it's running really well. And there are different models. The GL 1200, there is an Aspen Cade model and an Interstate. The Aspen Cade of the 1200 actually has a digital speedometer. It's really, really cool. So like I said, just like what I said with the other thing, if you're on the market, if you're about to buy something, you know, it's worth waiting a little bit to get the one you want. If I got a 1200, 100% I would want to get either the naked version with nothing on it or the one with everything with the digital speedometer. GL 1100s would actually come fully faired. There was an Interstate model, so there's full fairings, trunk, saddlebags. GL 1000 only had aftermarket parts for those, but some of those are very official looking still. Like it looks like it came out of the factory with that, right? Even if you want a naked GL 1100, go ahead, and if you find a good one with all of the fairings and everything, that's probably someone who took care of it, by the way, because I still got it. But if you find it with all the fairings, go ahead and buy that, and you can take the fairings off. And now you have the option. You could always put the fairings back on if you want later. You could actually sell the fairings. Just the saddlebags on the 1100, you can sell for $300 to $400. But that also means if you have an 1100, you're like, okay, well, later on, I'll get the trunk, I'll get the fairing, I'll get the saddlebags later. That's going to cost you $1,000 easily for all of those parts. But if you just buy the $2,000 1100 for with everything on it, now you have the option to remove the trunk and keep the saddlebags, or to remove the fairing and put a clear windshield on. So what I'm probably going to do with my 1100 is I'm probably going to put a clear windshield on, remove the trunk, keep the saddlebags, and kind of use it as a bagger. So what Goldwing would I recommend personally? So if you're wanting to do any kind of touring, if you want a Goldwing because it's a really nice, smooth ride and you like the bells and whistles, specifically, if you're not really looking for the retro look, I think you should get a GL 1800. Those were made from 2001 to 2017, and you can get an early 2000s model. You can get one anywhere from like $4,000 to $7,000, like that very reasonable range there. And they're much more modern looking. They have much more modern features. I have never ridden one, but they seem like they're really, really smooth. And so if you're wanting to ride something that doesn't look like it's from the 80s, because even though this is a 98 and you can even get a 2000 version, the model, it's exactly the same. It looks like it was made in 1988. And some people really love that. Some people really don't. I may make a separate video in the future, just like really breaking down like all the different types and models of Goldwing, talking about like which ones are my favorite. I did make a review video looking at the colorizations, but I don't know, I wouldn't mind like reviewing like, hey, Aspen Cade versus Interstate, SE versus 20th year anniversary edition or whatever, you know what I mean? So that could be fun. If you guys have tips about kind of Goldwing buying, go ahead and let me know. If you just picked up a bike or if you're looking, also let me know. I think typically for the best bang for your buck, 1500 is going to be probably the best. $2,500, you can get everything you want. But if you're wanting something a little bit more premium, something a little nicer, I would go for an early year GL 1800. And if you're looking for something really classic looking, like, you know, really clean and really classic, you know, less things that breaks, less technology, but you still get that really nice neutral seating position, go ahead and go for an older Goldwing. Like I said, if you really want a really nice older Goldwing, that price is actually going to be starting to creep up even a little bit higher than the nice 1500s. So thank you guys for watching. I've been really appreciating all of the interaction you guys have had on the channel. So much more content is coming. Me and my brother are going to be camping at the end of this month, and I am so excited. I'm going to be doing some two-up riding videos. I'm going to be doing some maintenance videos. It's going to be an awesome summer, and I hope you guys stick around.